Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
I still don't know how he does it.
I don't know how he does it either. He's live.
There's rumors he's singing down in the silver mine out in Colorado.
He's like over on the side, like Ed McMahon, or who was it guy that was with?
Johnny Carson?
Yeah.
Ed McMahon?
No, the dude that ran the band and everything.
Oh, Doc Severinsen.
Doc Severinsen, that's who it is.
But I like Stephen Colbert's guy.
Yeah. You like Stephen, you watch it, huh?
Well, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
John's good on there.
Oh, really?
Is a band guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, happy Columbus Day to you, Kaz.
Are we allowed to say that?
Why wouldn't we be? According to the calendar.
There's all kinds of protests around the country, but I guess it is Columbus Day.
You know, everybody's got something. Nobody's happy anymore, Kaz.
Yeah, I'd like, someday they'll rewrite history and nothing will be there.
You know, I know
we won't have any history.
The stuff that goes on down south with the Civil War guys and, taking statues down and...
Well, here's an interesting one. Mm-hmm. Ready for this?
Yeah.
There is one pensioner still receiving money from the U.S. government.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. From the Civil War.
Who's that?
Well, we'll talk about it later.
Hold that thought.
We got phone calls, though.
You're keeping me in suspense. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, hi. I'm calling about what's the city's position on the Arab American population in the city?
The what?
The Arab American population in the city?
What do you mean policy? We don't have a policy.
No, it's a reference to how come there's not any openness for Arab Americans to be in the city.
I don't know. The mayor's gone out of his way to be open with them. In fact, he just passed some legislation making Erie a welcoming city. Outside of attending all the swearing-in ceremonies and
he's been
openly inviting him to City Hall, what else do you want him to do?
Well, maybe have some Arab Americans run for public office.
Well, you know what? That's up to people to run for office. First of all, you have to meet the criteria.
They might not know about the criteria.
Well, you know what? How did I find out?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to tell you. I found out. When you come here and you take your citizenship test, or you're an American by birth, they teach you that in school. So if you want to run for office, it's up to you to find out how to do it. And it's not like we've had many people. Now, first of all, you have to meet the criteria. You have to live in the community that you're running in. You have to be a citizen and all that. So,
most people have a lot more things to worry about other than...
Yeah, what it really comes down to is how people, not the mayor and the council, but how the regular population treats people.
Maybe not an initial generation, but future generations.
Yeah.
They probably will.
It's very disrespected here in the city of Erie.
What do you mean disrespectful?
There's a lot of other citizens in the city of Erie that are not welcoming to Muslim Americans.
Well, that's their problem, not mine. I tell you this openly. I frequent a business that is run by a Syrian gentleman. You lead by example. So the problem is not with the mayor. It's not with the council.
Because maybe Islam might be able to help the city become an all-American city if we were to be open to Islam.
I can tell you this: the city of Erie, over the years, every generation has had to carve out their own niche. The Germans, the Irish, the Italians, the Polish, the Puerto Rican community, the Hispanics,
that's just part of becoming
the Russians, the Bosnians, the Serbs. They've all faced it.
If you look at all the different pockets of where everybody lives,
No, but
But this mayor's gone way out of his way to.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I mean, some people even get mad at him about it.
When they hold up their hand, he's right with them.
the city of Erie could benefit from Islam.
How do you figure that?
It's a religion of peace.
All religions are religion of peace.
I mean,
But we're not going to talk religion because
Yeah.
in America we have freedom of and freedom from religion.
there's a difference, the separation of church and state. So that's really doesn't happen.
Yeah, but we have no written policy.
Funny, they say in God we trust. How come they say do you swear to tell the truth so help you God? Is that a violation of church and state?
Bob, we're not going into that because that's a discussion
we could
that's been
talk about that for
talked
a
about for years, and that's constitutional law. And this is Taxpayer Hotline. Thank you for calling.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm like a philosophical articles.
We can't get into stuff.
I know this that people don't want to believe this, but there's freedom of and freedom from religion in this country.
Right. I mean,
That's how the founding fathers viewed it. That we don't have a government-run religion.
throughout history, Kaz, any leader that has aligned themselves, is what they've done was they've aligned themselves with the, let's say, Christianity or any religion.
Right.
They're leaders, and to keep control. Because if you're controlled with the religious leaders, then you get all their followers. And what's happened is throughout history,
Yeah.
eventually the religious leader turns against the leader, and that's where you've had problems.
But I don't know what more.
As far as accepting,
People will always have their views.
you think Joe Shepard, you think he's
I mean,
at the airport?
He's getting yelled at, and but
Yeah.
but
So-
here's the thing, it's up to everybody, everyday people to
Yeah. I mean, we have the young lady. What's the lady that he hired to that deals with she's short. What's her name? She's a nice lady. Dark hair.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, can't remember her name, but I see her around doing her thing.
When I was in the military, they only had two what they call chaplain service. They had Christian
Yeah.
and Protestant, now and Jewish. So we had Christian. Well, what they called it Christian and Jewish. They had symbols.
Yeah.
Now they have, I believe, the Muslim faith too.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody's becoming more acceptable, and we got people that have fought for this country.
Yeah.
So I mean, people are trying to make a problem sometimes where there isn't one,
Well,
and it's going to be a slow. Look, every ethnic group, and it's not right, but they all went through the same thing.
yeah. I mean, it's a struggle at first.
And who's yelling is the people whose relatives went through the same stuff. The people call and complain about.
Oh, it kills me.
Yeah, I mean,
People with an accent complaining about other people coming to our country and trying to better their lives.
I'm serious. I don't care what, if somebody has good food, good business, I don't care what.
No, I don't think it matters either. I think Erie is one of the more welcoming cities that you'll come along. I think, the way we keep losing population,
Well, you
it's a
gain
problem.
respect by just living your life like you should.
But Erie, I'm telling you, Erie's on the move. People are starting to realize around the country. I mean, we're going to be a smart city pretty soon.
Well, it's going to take a lot of hard work, and we have to.
We have a lot of people.
Right now, John, you have a lot of impetus. You want to see that in 10 years too, though.
Yeah.
That's when the true test comes after like they say, after the fluff projects are done.
Yeah. Well, with the smart city going up, I see they're doing something on 10th and Peach. Is Marquette doing something else up there?
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah.
Marquette actually, if I remember right, trying to think, I think, didn't they bought the building from VNet?
I think so. No, VNet owned that building?
Well, VNet was gonna buy that corner at 10th and
Uh-huh.
Peach,
Yeah.
the northwest corner,
Correct.
but I think Marquette took it. There's talk about there's gonna be like a restaurant in there,
Well, that'd be nice.
something for the employees
See,
in the
people
area.
are smart. They're starting to realize that the innovation district is
Well,
starting to.
what you gotta do, John, is, I just came back from the little town of Gettysburg, and what they try to do, and other towns are doing it, it works, we do it too to some degree. But the problem is our businesses, they shut down at 5 o'clock or 6. Yeah, I mean, after dinner, whatever it is. What you wanna do is you wanna keep them going all night.
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't, that's one thing I was thinking about this the other day. I wish they wouldn't turn the clocks back to where it gets dark at 5 o'clock. Because there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that won't go out at dark. Some of the older folks.
Well, that's been a topic,
I
John.
mean, economically,
It started with
it kind of hurts.
it started with the, what do you call it, the agrarian community.
The who?
Agrarian, farmers.
Oh,
The reason why they-
agricultural?
Yeah, the reason why they did it, I heard a lot of it was, they wanted an extra hour,
Yeah,
So they came up with saving time. That's what you're talking about.
yeah.
You're never gonna change the, what do you call it, the 1 hour difference between time zones.
No, that's irrelevant.
But the other one I heard was founded, a lot of it was founded on farming and.
Well, yeah, but then I think I've heard the farmers say they don't care about that.
No, but it's hard to, John, you ever notice about government? It's hard to get rid of some that you started.
Yeah, right. I mean, but it's like you get up,
And we've had this all my life,
you
John.
come to work in the dark, you get out of work in the dark. It's like, when do you have? No wonder Erie's depressed.
Well, they used to tell us that it was because of, kids going to school. There was many reasons. But I think the genesis of why they did it, and it goes back since it's older than I am, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly when they.
But I think it
implemented
goes back to
I
the
think it's
farmers needing
dumb.
an extra hour,
The extra hour to do what? I don't get it. It gets darker
You can-
earlier. Why would you want it? Why would you want
John,
it lighter longer?
Did you ever hear why we let kids out in summer? It was the same theory. It was founded on an agrarian society.
Yeah.
Agrarian meaning farming, okay? And a lot of those things aren't relevant, but once you got it there,
Yeah.
okay?
I mean, I think there was talk about. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, they extended it because I think we'd be into it. But 2 weeks later, it goes into whatever.
It's just
and
tough
then
to-
2 weeks earlier, we turn the clocks ahead.
It's just tough for government to change what they
I
created.
know. I just hate it. Because it gets dark and it gets cold.
We don't like to admit we were wrong.
I mean, it's depressing. The snow is depressing enough in the cold because a lot of people they're
But John,
stuck inside.
John, how old are you?
25,
Huh?
huh? 51.
Okay, when I was a kid, it wasn't a big deal to be, like, I call it the 3-month funk.
Yeah,
Okay, January, February, March.
Yeah.
You got nothing to look forward to because Christmas is gone.
yeah,
Okay,
Right, the January.
Easter's not here yet.
right.
You have no holidays really.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, but
Yeah, that don't count.
But the whole problem is nobody ever got bummed out. Okay,
Yeah.
people we went out, we walked, but now you got malls.
Yeah.
Everything's contrived. You stay in your house. You don't meet your neighbors.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be bummed out just because it's cold.
I am.
I mean, no, John, really. I've been to communities up in like Canada.
You'd be surprised with the lack of sunlight, with the brightness, and just dark, just dark.
Yeah, but you got to make something of it. You can't run and hide.
True. Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi, hello to both of you.
Hi.
I'm calling about school district.
What can we do for you?
So they're running out of nurses now, huh?
Well, that's I talked to a nurse the other day. It's funny that I talked to a nurse and it was before the article, and she told me that even in their hospitals they're running out of nurses. They're getting burned out. They don't pay them well. I mean, what you think is good
And they run them on crazy shifts.
is not good from the spectrum of how they pay other people in the medical profession. But yeah, it's getting tough to get nurses. I know a few nurses, and you know some, John, they get burned out.
Oh, for sure. The hours are long. But a school nurse job, that's a.
Find some retired nurses that's willing to work a few hours.
That's a sweet gig, being a school nurse.
I missed you, man. We got an echo. Say it again.
Retired.
Yeah, are you retired? You mean, or
She knows retired nurse.
Oh, are they willing to work?
Hours. Yeah.
Well, that's something that
something they should look into.
Well, we have somebody, I know that's possibly maybe a school director, or I can talk to some of them. That's an idea that we floated around even when we were there, but it's hard to get a solid commitment, and that's the
something
problem.
that definitely does need addressed.
But here's the problem, man. The state, by their own admission, only gives the school district $28 a student per year for a nurse.
I mean,
So that means the local community has to fund the rest. They have a what I call unreasonable expectation that one nurse is going to take care of 1,500 students,
yeah.
and that's the problem. I mean, and I've known a lot of nurses that they're burned out. Their hours are long. What we got to do is find a way to educate kids and to get them through. We used to have a program in the school district. They got rid of it. It was a nursing program that really was, I don't know if it cost much, or
Mercyhurst Northeast had the 2-year program.
is it cheap, or?
It was, but see, that's where the community college comes into play.
What would you like to see done, ma'am, besides that?
Like to see the school director
Well, that's definitely something that,
show and answer some questions. I don't know why he's hiding.
Who's that?
The school director, who's over the schools,
Oh, you mean the superintendent?
superintendent.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that it's costly, number one, and the state, if they're serious about it, they're gonna have to come up with a plan. Like John says, they don't wanna give us a community college, which may be, by the way, like I said, we also had a program in the school district. It was not a, what do you call it? What's the better nurse, an LPN? Is that it? It made the basic course in the nursing, it was very cheap, or very not, price-wise.
right?
And that was an entry level, but they're gonna have to do that, but the state also has to put more funding than $28 a student into nursing.
Not only that, but the nursing, but they also need diversity amongst the teachers too. I think that's a major problem. In Pittsburgh, they started introducing this program where you get a lot of their paraprofessionals. Because a lot of people have, minorities have their bachelor's, but it's getting that master's degree. And what they're doing is, what we could do in the city is partner with somebody like Gannon or Mercyhurst that don't pay any taxes to the schools, and say, hey, instead with a pilot agreement, get some of these folks on the fast track to getting that teaching certificate.
But kids aren't even going to state schools because it's damn expensive.
Any schools. Kaz, I got my kid in Gannon. I tell you, I got.
Well, I mean, but
I got to
state
shovel
schools,
walks this
a
winter.
state school is traditionally cheaper, and now they're getting pretty high.
Well, the problem is the Erie schools.
Yeah.
You done put all the kids in one school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where the money is going. I'm paying my taxes, and I'm in my 70s.
Well, hang on, because when they got that overseer,
I would like to know, how do you put this on the ballot? Listen.
okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
You turn 65, you don't have to pay taxes, school taxes. I don't have any kids in school.
Well, the only state that I've seen that done it, and there's others, but I'm familiar with Virginia. Virginia, at your age, when you retire, and if you're married, if both you and your spouse, or any kids in the house also, if nobody is working and they're all retired, the state of Virginia will freeze your taxes. That doesn't mean they go away, but you will pay at the same rate until you sell your house.
Something has to be done.
But that's on a state level. The city and the school district have no control over it because they're given very few options.
There's some things in the works where they're talking about possibly raising revenue other than through the property tax.
Yes, and you know what that comes down to?
What's it come down to?
It comes down to, and these are unpopular things too. Income tax would be okay. They would raise the state income tax.
Yeah.
They talk about raising the state tax.
Yeah.
And also maybe making it all-inclusive, which means you'd have to pay on groceries and clothing. That would make Erie at a disadvantage with the business it receives from New York. So there'd be, but go ahead, ma'am, I'm listening.
As a taxpayer, I just want this guy to come on TV and talk, answer questions. Where's the money going to?
Well, he's got an overseer now too, and that guy told him that.
I'm from the school district. Somebody should come and let us taxpayers ask him questions, her or him.
Well, you, as a citizen, you can request that.
If he don't come, then we'll start assuming stuff.
I mean, back when I was a school director, we had James Barker, and he loved talking to the media a lot more. I mean, you couldn't get him away from a microphone.
Yeah, right.
But he was willing to meet. I think citizens should request that, because I'll tell you, with the guy that's running the school district now, the overseer, who has a big input.
Have you been to any of the school board meetings to address it?
No, I haven't.
Because what he told the district, and what he told the the directors, is that they're going to have to raise taxes every year.
Yeah.
And he pretty much told them that.
Well, I attended the.
Senior citizens are leaving this town.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, you're walking all over us, and we're leaving this town.
But you know what? It's not going to get any better from what I see. With all the people that are moving to Mill Creek and Summit now, their school taxes are booming now too.
Right. So.
And the state some years ago passed a rule that school districts cannot just raise taxes at will anymore. The only thing you were allowed to vote on was they had, what would they call the thing? The homes. They had to declare which way they were going to raise taxes.
Yeah.
But even if you wanted to, ma'am, and you wanted to have a vote on like school nurses and things like that, in Pennsylvania we do not have what they call binding referendum, which means that it's a Pyrrhic vote, meaning it doesn't mean much. They don't have to listen to it, and what's it take to get on the ballot? It's quite hard, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's not easy to put a question on the ballot, but they have no standing legally to listen to it. Where other states like California, and I think Ohio, they have binding referendums.
Well, I talk to a lot of senior citizens of my age. I go to a lot of senior citizen meetings, and we're tired of it. And you're going to have to do something about it.
Well, what they have to do, and here's the problem.
We're going to sign some petitions or something. This is getting ridiculous. The schools aren't up to par.
Yeah.
Put all these kids in one school. That's a mess, a hot mess. You build a new school for high schools, then you change it around and put elementary kids in this humongous school.
Yep, well.
But somebody's not doing their job right, and I want to tell you, we want it looked into. So you may see us at City Hall pretty soon.
Well, City Hall has nothing to do with the school district.
Yeah, you need to go to.
You need to go to the school district, and you need to go to a school board meeting, which I think is on the same night ours are on.
Wednesday nights.
They meet once a month, don't they?
Yeah.
You need to go there, and you need to demand from them. I can tell you this, ma'am. I was involved years ago with Academy when they closed it, and we were novices. We didn't know what we were up against. So what we did, we checked all the laws and found out that they can't meet in private. That they were doing that, and we opened up the meetings. We also went there and asked questions, hard questions. But what you have to do is you have to stay on it. You can't just go one time. You have to go there, and you have to be inconvenienced enough times. But don't, when people call up talk shows and they come to council meetings about county business or school district business, we can't do nothing. We can only control what we can do legally. You need to talk to the school directors. You need to go to a school board meeting. You need to call out if that's what you want, you need to call out the superintendent.
Out to all the senior citizens centers, and we're going to get us a group, and we're going to go to the meetings.
Right. If you got a problem with the city, then by all means, you come down here and talk to us, and I'll be glad to listen to you. But you want to make sure you go to the right spot.
Yeah.
If it's a county problem, social services and stuff like that, you got to go to the county. School problems, you got to go to the district, and they have their own meetings, because we can't tell the school district what to do. Under law, they are, the school board, they run that business. That's their,
Yeah.
yeah, but I would say you got a good idea, ma'am, but, if you wanna come here and talk, that's fine, about city business.
Yeah.
But you're just, if you want us to do something outside of moral support, we can't tell the school director what to do. But the public needs to,
Have this free format here, and they won't come and talk with us.
no, if you think this is bad, when they closed Academy, it was really a mess, and, there were things that were never done right about that. I'll tell you this, I was on the school board when there was a need to repair East, and they built a new school. We got a lot of money from the state and GE, and they said this school would last forever, and you're right. Now, all of a sudden, we turn around, that school's closed. Our technical program at Tech is tossed into the crap barrel a little bit too. And, Vincent's gone, and now, I don't know, ma'am, it's a lot of things have changed, but, to those.
Somebody else call in.
Pardon?
I'm gonna hang up and let somebody else call in.
Okay, but, take your argument and follow through on it, take it to the school board.
Am.
Or come here if you've got city problems and, because we don't, that's how we find out things. And thank you for calling,
Thanks
okay?
for calling.
I think I know this lady.
Yeah, I think so.
She's very active.
Yeah. Well, people don't know, but the state wants them to raise taxes every year.
Sure, that's their, well, what they're telling them is that, see, that's like with the nurses. 28, if that figure is right, $28 a year for a kid for a nurse.
Yeah, I attended the meeting when hold on a second, caller. I attended the meeting where the state, Secretary of Education came in, Mr. Rivera.
Yeah.
And, he came in with, raise taxes, outsource, just the same cookie cutter ideas.
But then they demand things from the local school boards that there's no money involved.
And they don't realize where we're at is, they don't care.
No.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi.
Hello.
Nothing super pressing. I just thought that it's kind of strange that for at least 4 weeks in a row now, on garbage day, like my garbage night is Monday night, and for at least 4 weeks in a row, the street sweepers come down the road on Monday. And we so often have garbage blowing around down here. I'm on 4th Street, and I just think that that's strange. So I thought I'd call and ask, why do they do it before the garbage runs?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know if do they even correlate one to the other, or do they just each make their
Well,
own schedule?
at what we pay these department heads, I think they should be able to figure it out.
Well, you'd think, don't,
Would think.
If the public can figure it out, and they're not getting paid anywhere near that. So you're on West 4th or East 4th?
What?
Okay, West 4th, and your pickup night is Monday?
Yeah, Monday night.
And then they bring the sweepers around on Monday.
Yeah, during the day.
Yeah.
The trash gets picked up on the evening.
Yeah, you would think they would go afterwards,
you
because,
think they would do the Lower West Side on Tuesday,
well, after you,
Tuesday morning.
when do you sweep a parade? After the parade's over, right?
Yeah,
That's how they used to do in the old days. They come with, and then they used to run the water too, which I don't see them running the water.
I see them out a lot in the mornings, so they are out there, that's the one.
Yeah, it's just that the timing has to be such that, it should be done after the
They
garbage.
do, a lot of these departments, they do watch the show, so I think they probably heard what you said. Now, will anything get done about it? That we'll have to see, but a lot of them do listen to the show and
Well, we got a council meeting Wednesday. I'll bring it up there in my report, okay, ma'am?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate them cleaning up. I just think that the
See-
next day would be better.
See, I always found that you don't have to hire a lot of experts at big money. A lot of times,
we don't need rocket sciences.
well, a lot of times it's the workers, the people that live in the community
Yeah,
that come up with the good ideas that nobody listens to,
yeah.
Well, you guys listen, and I like the show, so thank you. Even though I don't agree with everything that's going on in the city, I
Well, you-
appreciate that there's this little outlet that we can call in.
Well, it's okay to disagree. That's how, what don't you like? And just for fun.
I don't see why, just because everywhere else around the world is building a technology-centered world, why we have to go along with it. I mean, I understand.
Yeah. You'd like to see manufacturing,
That's
right?
just part of it.
Not even necessarily manufacturing. I don't know. I think that there's downsides to all the things, right? But
Yeah.
techno world, like every intersection you go through and you see the cameras and everything. I mean,
Oh, okay. You're talking about the technological upgrades, right?
yeah, how much safer does it actually make us? How much better, I mean, is it really an improvement on the parking situation? What is the exchange that we're making? We give up so much of not the freedom, but and like, just the faceless aspect of like going around and just living and not having to be seen and watched with everything you do. What is the trade-off? What do we actually get for it? And it just seems like Erie's on a runaway train on that path. So
Actually, I would say, I would disagree with you on one thing. I think we are giving up our freedom.
oh well, yeah.
I mean, ever since 911, I mean, we under the Patriot Act, we just, it's okay to camera us. I mean, I don't think the public knows that. They now have the capability of, without your permission and without a court order, they've digitized your face.
Oh, certainly.
And, and that was all done experimentally and other stuff, but, I mean, you go to the airport, you don't even get a warning that they're, digitizing your face for records. There is, there's a trade-off. And like I tell these young kids, I said, it was nice when we didn't have a cell phone and we didn't tell everybody where we went every day.
She's right about that. But on the other hand, Erie, and I think I read something about this, where we need to be a bikeable city, transportation and walkable city
Yeah.
and bicycles.
Everywhere around the world. Like, that's
Yeah.
not just an Erie thing. I just dislike cookie cutter sort of thing. I mean, I know everybody's got to keep with the times, but the bikeable and the walkable, these things are happening everywhere. I mean, it's obviously a big push, not just in this city.
But you had some very good points. I just think
Yeah.
with the way society is today, we've given away a lot of our freedoms. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't know where you're being cameraed or.
Right.
Yeah, and then you go, I mean, all the point tilt zoom cameras that are in your retail establishments too. You go to the store and the cameras just follow you right on in. And
Yeah, see, it used to be that even though they had cameras, there was a legal procedure that you had to go through. You had to be, get a court order and stuff like that. But today, I mean, there's a good part to it, but there's also a bad part that, it could be misused against a citizen too.
oh, certainly.
It's one of those. After 911, the world changed like.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah, I mean, God, you can't go anywhere without. I mean, I tell you the truth. I've given up going to basketball games at the Civic Center. I had an easier time getting into the Cleveland Cavaliers game than I do an Erie Bayhawks game.
Really?
Yeah, and I just, you know what? At my age, I've had enough. I don't need to feel safe. I just want to go in there. You want to scan me for a weapon, that's fine. But when you go rooting around in my wife's purse
Yeah.
and all that's gone too far.
Yeah.
We're not talking about, the president coming here. We're not talking about,
Yeah, right.
we're entering a secure building for, secrets of the, we're going to see a basketball game,
Yeah, right.
and you got to be subjected to
A body scan.
yeah.
Sir.
Well, I mean, it's worse than going to Cleveland. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I went into the National Museum at Gettysburg and a couple other places, and I didn't go through half of that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, man.
We agree.
Things happen, and they happen at who knows when it's going to happen, and it's probably never going to change in that way because we're all humans. This just happens. But maybe putting all of this extra security and surveillance on it, maybe it like feeds the problem, and it makes people feel like they're unsafe. I don't feel unsafe. I talk to my neighbors.
Yeah.
I'll take out my trash in the dark. I'm not afraid of my neighbors. So I think that. Plus, I don't know. Maybe I'm considering it more, but I would think that it maybe puts a little bit of negativity, and I get it. It's where the world is going. But why do we have to do it with everybody else? Sorry. I'll let somebody else call in.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
You know, another thing, you know, what do you feel about the McDonald's situation? Just,
You know what's disappointing? We have a council, you wanna come up here? Oh, that's, we
upset about the McDonald's.
we just met with, hold that, I'm gonna put the thought there, 'cause
well, hold on 1 second, okay, caller? Go ahead, what were you gonna say, Cass?
we turned down that grant,
Yeah,
you know, not because we were against it, but we wanted some questions answered.
right.
Council was the only one in the city that didn't know what was going on.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, that's the way it is. They talk to the mayor, they talk to other people, the county exec. They never talk to council. Then we get it shoved on our agenda, and we're supposed to make a decision. We're not saying it's bad or good. We're saying we need some questions answered. Well, we sat there and we asked Mr. Persinger what they had in mind. You know, what they were up to, you know, what the scope of the project was. You know, it'd be nice to know that they were gonna take McDonald's, because I have a funny feeling, and I'll say it publicly, we're probably getting a parking ramp there,
For sure.
okay? Well, why didn't you tell council that?
For
Why,
sure.
why is it such a big secret that 2 days later you open up the paper and McDonald's is gone? Is there a plan to put them back there? Because years ago they talked about putting them in the parking ramp or moving them somewhere. You know, I think we were lied to again. I mean, what the heck is going on? Why can't they, you know, council is more important than the mayor's office. We are the ones that have to okay this. Our name goes on it. Mayor and everybody, all these execs, they can say, oh, well, you know what, you know, council goofed up. Yeah, it's us.
It's good for, you know, if they're getting these grants, and you guys need to approve these grants, they need to start coming to you and keep.
Well, he
you
sat
guys-
right there and he goes over the whole, and not one time was McDonald's mentioned.
You know, I'm for expansion and for bettering the city, but it seems like they're getting a little bit out of control.
Well, John, I don't, you know, it may not be a bad idea to move McDonald's, but what do you got in mind?
Sure.
Do you have a
There's-
plan for them?
I'm sure there's a lot of things, negative things that were going on there, but there's people that really, you know, it's affordable.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, now you gotta go to, not that it's a big thing, but now the closest one is 12th Street.
I mean, yeah,
Let's hold that thought.
Hold that
Go
thought.
ahead, sir, or ma'am, whoever, who's on there?
It's me again. I've called several times before. You know, I'm listening to you guys talk about, you know, how the mayor doesn't come and talk to you about important changes in the city and stuff. And, you know, I think about how the voice of the taxpayer has been eroded and taken away over time, and we really don't have any say-so about anything. You know, you can go and talk to council or to the mayor, and your concerns mean nothing. Nothing is ever done. And now it appears that lack of concern and voice is being eroded with city council. I've seen it happen. You guys are in the dark more times than you're on point with what's going on in the city. So, I mean, it's just moving up the food chain there, and Joe Schember and Persinger, you know, they want to be top of the heap, and they don't care if you're going to be included in the discussion. And so, getting back to how the taxpayer's voice doesn't mean anything, I have spoken out many, many times about water fluoridation in the city. And so what do I get this week in my mail? I got a letter from the water department saying
About
that
the aluminum.
high toxic levels of aluminum, which is a neurotoxin. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to Google a MDS sheet for aluminum to know that it is toxic to the brain. And they had the audacity to say, don't worry about it, this isn't a problem.
Yeah, it's only a month in.
I don't understand it either. I saw that, I was like, how in the heck? How does it get, I mean,
Well, obviously, there's some place, somebody's discharging, but, you know, all of a sudden now we catch it, which is good from that aspect, but what do you do for a month now?
who actually caught the fact that was it one of their studies or was it a private study?
Well, they have chemists down there who do it regular,
Okay.
but I don't know whether it was the state, the Fed, or
That's what I'm
was their own
wondering.
in-house chemist.
was it the-
Did they
was-
say, ma'am, who found it?
According to
to the letter, it reads to me that they found it during a routine study.
Yeah, because they do have chemists down there that, they employ chemists, just like we took a tour of the sewage plant, and they have a chemist that analyzes the water before it's discharged.
Yeah.
And, so I mean, somebody was on the ball, but it scares you because now, what do you do for a month?
What
or
are they
so?
doing to fix it? Did they say?
Whose head? Whose head should be on the chopping block? What does Joe Schember do? He gives Paul Wojcik an award. Our water is not clean water. If it was, people wouldn't be buying bottled water. You gentlemen buy bottled water to drink.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
This is Tim Hortons water right here.
The city's water is not safe to drink. And it's sad. This is not what you do to your citizens, and it's not a world-class city standard. You just don't do that. So, like getting back to the fact that you guys are being crippled, council's being crippled by, your voice is no longer important.
Well, it bugs us because, we got 7 members and they all have different outlooks on life, and they all wake up different every morning. You never know, but they all have questions. And the trouble is, before we vote on something, I'll give you an example. The PFM report that came out, that was in the hands of people in the administration on Monday. I think we got ours Wednesday night.
That makes you feel important.
So I had to spend all night, late at night, till 3 in the morning, reading the report.
Anytime, Kaz.
So that I'd have valid questions to ask the next day.
Anytime that you guys on council get something sent down here, and you don't have the proper amount of time to.
I've been doing it.
Table it.
That's what I've been doing. And you know what? I tell the new members of council that we don't know how much power we got because we never used it. But, we need to start flexing our muscles a little bit because we are the city fathers and the mothers, and that's the way it is. There's a check and a balance.
Government, councils, and same with the county, they're viewed as obstructionists. Like, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But look at this problem with all these clubs that are opening. Council has been aware of it. We've been pressing. It's an important issue. I mean, if you want people to live in the city, not downtown, but in their neighborhoods, you better make sure they're clean. And when the neighbors tell you there's a problem, they don't want to hear that they're busybodies.
I think they should close the one down on 24th and Ash. But anyway, go ahead, caller. Anything else?
I got to get back to my concern here, my big concern. One of you gentlemen, and I think it was you, John, that said somebody dumped aluminum in the water, and that's not how it happened.
You don't think? How does it happen? I might have said that. I'm thinking somebody discharged somewhere. There was a discharge into the water, or where does it come from?
Department adds polyaluminum chloride to the water, and one of those idiots down there put way too much in. They don't know the difference between a gallon, 2 gallons, 5 gallons, or a whole vat.
So they put what do you call polyaluminum chloride?
Polyaluminum chloride.
What do they use it for?
Adding hydrofluorosillic acid. They're pouring toxins in our water, and everybody's sitting back letting them do it.
Wow.
Aluminum and hydrofluorosillic acid are both highly neurotoxic substances.
And now you know why I'm against selling the water department outright.
I think it's a big mistake.
I think that if you let Paul Wojcik and his cronies buy that water department, it's going to be a big crying shame.
Well, they don't have my vote because I think once you take it out of any government's hands, you have no, we pick some of the people who are on the authority. We can't say what they're going to do or that.
Yeah, how about you guys pick the guys on the new parking authority, and guess what?
I didn't pick them, the mayor picked them.
The mayor picked them, and guess what?
But we do, but council does have water authority picks.
Yeah, oh really?
Yeah, that's our picks?
Yeah.
But we do not have, by the way they set it up, we have nothing to do with the,
I thought that was funny. We want new people on these boards.
yeah.
Hey, what happened? Whack. Sorry, city.
See, ma'am, I would put, if I had an appointment, and I don't have one recently, I'd probably put you on there.
Yeah, for real.
Well, you know what? The thing of it is you should just wipe the slate clean. They do a lousy job. This is proof positive evidence that they do a lousy job. They can't even control the amount of the substances that they're supposed to put in our water. And that letter, I'm standing here looking at it on my refrigerator. It specifically states they add that substance. That didn't come from some business that dumped something in that they shouldn't have. Our water department and heads should roll.
Well, they did. They
Lose their job.
They cleaned the slate for the parking authority, and it was a $500,000 mistake.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful what you cut and the slates you wipe clean, because in the it is a perfect example.
What we need is, council has to be very careful who they put on these boards and authorities.
Yeah.
To monitor.
Because they're autonomous. Yeah. Once you're put on that board, you are autonomous of what government wants you to do.
I would nominate you for a position if I had one.
She would be good on the water.
I don't have a one right now.
You know who that? This is Mary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who this is.
Yeah.
You know what? It's absolutely deplorable that we have to live like this.
You remind me of the late Ann DeMarco.
Somebody saying every night, I have to eat a plate of dog poo for my dinner, whether I like it or not.
You remind me of the late Ann DeMarco.
Well, you know what?
She was, you know what, they called her, well, I tell you what the opposition called her.
Yeah.
You know, a pain in the...
Who calls me names? I wouldn't care about that.
No, but you know what? I loved Ann, and Mario used to point her to the water board, and she was a fighter. I mean, this woman, I mean, you want her in your corner.
Hey, you need somebody like educated
and she reminds me
educated
of her a lot.
Educated on what they're talking about and what needs to be done to correct. Listen, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If no one complains or nobody bees, nobody complains or nothing changes.
Well, you know, the thing of it is you don't have people stepping up to the plate anymore to go to city council to fight for these things because they're being deliberately medicated. Neurotoxins affect the brain's ability to process data. You become complacent and sedentary, and you just go with the flow. But isn't that what government wants? A bunch of sedentary, complacent people who are just going to go with the flow.
Well, the Romans used to entertain them, but now we're medicating them.
They medicated them too in a different way back in the...
It's not funny, I mean.
No, you know what I mean, though. She's right, though.
Talking about putting lithium in the water.
Oh.
Lithium's a bipolar drug, and they're talking about adding that to our water. That's disgusting. So we'll have hydrofluorosillic acid, aluminum, and lithium will be mush.
I knew we were going to get a call today on that. I'm glad you called because I kind of forgot about it as the show was going on.
I'm going to tell you, I'm carrying that paper with me. I'm carrying the MSDS sheet with lithium and hydrofluorosillic acid and the other crap that they're putting in our water, and I'm just going to carry it with me wherever I go. I will stop and visit with people in the grocery line, and I'm going to try to wake people up. This is ridiculous.
I agree. We agree with you, Mary.
Dumping aluminum. The city water department dumped aluminum in our water. Doesn't that sound horrific?
How long does it take to clear out, and are they clearing it out, and how do you clear it out? That's the question.
Yeah, will we ever know the truth? Probably not.
No. I'm surprised, honestly, that they even came forward with it.
They probably have to by law.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it begs who found it.
Yeah.
Maybe, don't forget, Joe Schember gave Paul Wojcik an award.
Well, maybe the council liaison was here earlier.
Who is the liaison? Oh, Kathy?
I think it's Kathy, and if she can request him to come down here and address council, you know, so we know what's going on, and, you know,
Good luck with that.
yeah, why does the media, you know, that's something that
I'm sure the media's on it.
council should, you know,
They got nothing better to do.
all governments that are involved should get an update on that. Everybody that's involved, Mill Creek, Erie, you know, because
The
it's
county.
authority now. Yeah, the county, everybody, you should have,
Who's been poisoned.
yep. Thank you for calling, Mary.
Thanks, Mary. Good call. Thank you.
You know, the one thing that lovely lady called earlier about the schools.
Yeah,
Need to go to the school district and talk. It's a waste of her time.
yeah, it is, but it won't be, I'll tell you this, Mary, I'm a believer in this. I've seen it work, but you have to put a full court press on them, and you don't let up, and you get the media somehow on your side to at least publish it.
See, the problem
And
with,
then you have to pound them, and then the problem is you don't elect the same people. That's the real, you know, you look for people that, like when they had this big hassle with closing academy, I'll admit that's how I got elected, because we were upset parents that watched all this crap go down, and, you know, the PTAs got behind us, and the parents that gave $2 about it, you know. So, but I think you can get it accomplished, but you have to put a lot of pressure on Mary.
and the problem with the school board is has more to do with the state than the city itself. The state regulates a lot of the school board stuff, so.
Well, she's wasting her time because I know I wasted mine.
Well, yeah, I don't want people to feel like that, but sometimes, you know, the only way you can make a change, you have to put people in there that believe like you do.
Well, you know, Kaz, I put a lot of effort in putting together medical research, and I handed council 300 medical research articles on how hydrofluorosilicic acid affects the brain.
And you can't, and for some reason, I can't get 4 votes, and that bugs me.
Well, no, you could. You could now, because you have Sonia, you have Mel, you have you, and you have Kathy.
I think we need to look at this, because this is embarrassing when, you know, when you read about this, that now, you know, for like a month now, people got to decide what they're going to do.
With this whole situation with the aluminum, that would give you an excuse and not an excuse, but a reason to get him up here and ask Paul questions.
Because that's how, I'm not saying we're like Flint, but that's how things happen.
No.
You know, people allow little things to slip.
No.
And we expect more. I mean,
So I had to put up with the one council person woman who I put literally weeks of effort into my presentation for you guys each time. And she sat and Googled on her phone for 3 minutes and then just regurgitated what a said in Pittsburgh. You know, that's not journalism. That's not research.
well, I'm worried because, you know, my wife has problems.
I'm shocked that you haven't stepped up to the plate and been absolutely a thorn in their side just to protect your wife. I know if it was somebody hurting me and Joe knew about it, he's a hell hath no fury.
We got to bring him. We got to find out what the hell's going on. And I mean, that's embarrassing when you read that.
Sometimes, Mary, sometimes you gotta pick and choose your battles. And if Kaz knows that the will isn't there amongst his other, you can be the champion all you want, but when you're in the minority, there's really not much you can do about it. But with the whole aluminum thing coming now,
Yeah,
that's when you want to start the ball rolling to get some questions.
by their own admission now. You know, not people for 1 month, or that's what they said. But how do you know?
You know, that reminds me, I made coffee this morning at home, and I'm like, man, oh man, I used the water out of the spigot.
Yeah.
Didn't shower,
Yeah,
because what goes on goes in.
that's
And
true.
your body absorbs that too, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. I made a
All
pot
the
of
bottled
coffee.
water you want, John, and it ain't going to help you.
What was that, Mary?
I said, you can drink all the bottled water you want, but if you shower
Yeah.
that water, it ain't gonna help you.
Well, maybe we better not shower.
How do you know this water? How do you know this
No,
water's
you
good?
bet. I
either?
need, yeah, I better shower.
Thanks for calling, Mary.
Mary, good call. Great call.
Bye.
Bye.
I was gonna say, one of the things that upset me about that PFM report was number of calls I got.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
I got a few things for you guys. Did you ever check on the parking at Perry Square about turning that around?
I brought it up, and I did, and I got nowhere in the caucus room. There wasn't a will, or nobody wanted to even listen.
Okay.
I did bring it up, and because I thought about it the other day. It's funny you bring that up. I was in Gettysburg, and the one, you know what they tell you in the Gettysburg parking ramp?
No.
Do not back in.
Oh, really?
I mean, we've been taught our whole life to pull in forward,
Yeah, right.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how you look at it, whether you back in or back out, you're gonna have to,
You're gonna have to back one way or another.
yeah. But I did bring it up, sir. It got nowhere though.
Okay. I got three more things too, real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not sure if on West 6, before you get to like Lincoln, okay, it's that only stop sign. It's that four-way stop, you know what I'm talking about?
On Lincoln?
Before Lincoln.
On what street?
I'm not sure the name of that street. It's a four-way stop. It's the only stop sign. And I'm not sure the name of that road. You know where that four-way stop is when you're down in the frontier neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what street it is besides Lincoln. You know
I
where
can
it is,
picture where it is, yeah.
Okay. Whatever that street is, there's like a suckers hanging from a tree. It's obscuring the stop sign when you're heading east.
A what? Hang on.
A tree?
Yeah, there's suckers on a tree, and it's like obscuring the stop sign.
Oh yeah, the engineering. If we notify engineering, I notified them of a problem up on East 38th and State that when they put the new lights in for the VA hospital there, they had to cut some of those. They took care of it. But if you can find out what street that is, do you know about where it might be?
I know where he's talking about. I can't remember the name of the street.
And Kaz, if you can drive next time you're going out West 6, just check it out.
What's the side of the cross street? Is it 6th Street or 8th Street? Or?
2 streets before you get to Lincoln when you're heading east.
Okay, but what street are you driving on?
You're on West 6.
Oh, West 6.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Like when you head out to the peninsula?
Yeah. I was just out there yesterday too.
Yeah, it's one of those main
Actually,
state
I
streets.
can
It's
take a
like,
look.
I don't know, what is it, Virginia or
I'll take a look.
all
at
those weird.
it.
John will look and then he'll call me and I'll call engineering. And when you notify engineering, then they'll call the
Four-way.
Parks Department to come on and cut it then.
Yeah, it's the only four-way stop. Yeah, and it can. And Kaz, they can do it in 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, but a lot of times they don't. Until people tell them, they never spot it.
Yeah, if they got a little pole pruner with them or something, they can just take these little suckers down.
Yeah, they have cut them for me when I notify them. So, what's your other questions?
Let me see. Abandoned vehicle. It's in the area of 19th and Camp House.
Abandoned vehicles?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't live there, of course, but
That's
drive back from going to Erie County Farms, heading home.
Just there the other day too.
Here's what's
You were
weird about it. There's a dealer plate on it.
A dealer plate?
A dealer plate with 2 or maybe 3 flat tires.
Ah.
And you can't miss it. It's in the area of 19th and Camp Housing.
Okay, I'll take a ride there. The next trip down to Erie County Farms will probably be this weekend.
Yeah. You head down, when you're heading down, where they used to dump all the time.
Yeah.
That little street there off of Camp Housing?
Mm-hmm.
By the softball fields?
Yeah, when you're heading towards those softball fields and where all those, you're down by Spader and all that down that area.
Okay, you got one more.
It's on 19th and Camp Housing.
You got one more, I think, don't you?
And one more. This is really crazy. They are at the Coke plant. They have hired out a street cleaner. Do the roads around there.
The Coke plant
Yes.
to keep
They have contracted their own street cleaner.
the visual effect of their filth off the street.
Yep, they're trying to, yep. You know what they're doing, John.
Oh yeah,
They're damn well what they're doing.
What are they doing?
they're the soot and everything, all the waste that comes out of there lands on the street.
On the
Yeah.
marijuana plant?
No.
Oh, what plant?
Coke plant.
The Coke plant.
Oh, the Coke plant, okay.
Yeah, marijuana, that's a different kind of smoke. But this smoke comes, the stuff comes out of the.
Oh, so they're
chimneys.
trying to hide it.
Yeah, they're hiding it. It's taking a proactive approach to the visual.
You got it.
But they're not gonna, what are you gonna do in your backyard, right?
They can't do nothing in your grass.
That's for sure.
I
Or your
just wonder,
backyard.
I wonder how people's grass looks in that neighborhood.
Well, I bet you the cars are filled with it too.
The cars get soot, they get stuff on them, ruins their paint.
Well, yeah, it's caustic.
I mean, and I grew up on the Lower East Side where the Russian church is, and usually the winds are predominantly west-east. But when that breeze comes from the north, the smell of that place is disgusting.
I don't know what more has to be done. All we get is promises.
You don't want to lose jobs, but there needs to be an environmental, economical balance.
But
somewhere.
if you're the one that dies, you don't give a crap
No,
about
I
it.
mean all the cancer.
Yeah, if your wife or your husband comes down with cancer, what do you care about 30 jobs or 200
I mean,
jobs?
my whole family suffers from cancer, and we live, just right down by that area. So
Thanks for calling, sir.
thanks for calling.
Hey, well, I still want to finish up with this.
Oh,
Go
okay,
ahead.
go ahead.
Can you notify
Pardon?
You there?
the DEP that they're doing this?
They know. They're on the DEP's on top. Oh, I don't know about the street cleaning thing, but
Well, you better notify them that they are street cleaning down there, and they're doing it right in front of all those sensors.
the barber center.
No, all those their air quality checks.
They have sensors there, he said.
Oh, center. I thought you said centers.
No, sensors.
Sensors. Okay.
They're street cleaning right in front of those things. You know what they're doing?
Yeah.
It's obvious. They're trying to get all the filth off,
Right.
So the sensors can't pick it up.
get the high readings for all the crap that comes out of that place.
Right.
So the sensors can't pick up what's not there.
Yeah. Actually, that's
It's
sad.
they're playing us for fools down there. You know that.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting away with it with the government. I mean, they had a chance to make a real statement.
Well, this
Fuck you
day,
guys. Hey, but for one thing, these things shouldn't be in residential areas. For another thing, it shouldn't be near the damn lake.
Yeah.
and then we wonder why we have things in the water. Even though the aluminum might be a little different.
Going
situation.
running right into our lake.
You got it. I agree.
And it seems that, everybody's whistling through the graveyard about this. The only people care are the people. It's like the government doesn't give a shit. They just want their fine money. And we'll just fine the hell out of them. And, well, we don't have...
Yeah, they've been talking about that for so many years. I figured they were finally put the hammer to them, and they didn't.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank Thanks for calling, sir.
Talk to you guys next
Thanks for
week.
calling. Okay. Kaz, I'm sure we are,
Yep. So I just
Off
want
of
to
the
make
air.
one last comment, John.
yeah,
When they released that report, and I had so many people call me that misinterpreted
which report?
the PFM report. You know, the one where they said they were going to sell the water department.
Yeah.
Nothing's been decided.
Those are just options on the table.
Right, but the way the media portrayed them,
Yeah.
it's like we're gonna sell I would not sell the water department. First of all, 75 million is a very,
Low number.
yeah. And why would you're giving away,
You have to stop selling your assets. at
well,
some
you're
point.
giving away $4 to $5 million a year guaranteed. Yes, it would look nice to clear up your debt, but my question is,
Long
okay,
term.
so you clear up the debt, you know, you pay off all your bond issues and all that, so you're never going in debt again, right? You're gonna tell me that?
No, that's bull.
So now you go into the next few years, because Allentown, I think, sold their water department
Oh, did they?
to help out their pension plan. But what happens in the future, now when you don't have that, once you sell it, it's gone.
Yeah,
Not only that, you lose any kind of control you had over it.
right,
You can't,
right.
you can't appoint people.
I wonder if the water authority was autonomous, would they have had to come forward and announce the aluminum situation in the water?
But they are autonomous.
I mean, yeah, but would they have to disclose stuff like that?
I don't know. I would think, today, I think the way the government's hammering them,
Yeah,
what you don't want is, you read around the country about things that got out of hand, nobody said nothing.
they must have got out in front of something. They
Let's
must
hope-
have knew something.
Let's hope it's not any worse than it is. I mean,
I mean, everybody, and, like, I make coffee out of it all the time. I always,
people can't, the average person can't afford to keep buying bottled water.
No.
I buy it because I like flavored water.
it's cheap and all.
But
and
I, up to now, I wasn't afraid to.
we live on a fresh water. We live on a great lake. If we don't have fresh water, imagine what the rest of the world is doing. You gotta.
Yeah.
Seriously. If we can't have fresh water, and we live on one of the biggest Great Lakes, what's going on around the rest of the world?
Yep. See you next week, John?
Yeah. What's next week? Anything special?
I don't think so.
It's not Columbus Day. Is it Magellan Day or anything?
Would you?
Or Ponce de Leon Day?
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a
Balboa
holiday. It's called Nothing Day.
Just a day where you do nothing?
No, it doesn't honor anything.
Yeah, just to have a day off.
It's just a day that
Call it Kaz Day.
we'll give it a color gray,
Yeah, great Kaz
neutral
Day.
color. Just
Gray Day.
yeah.
Where you just chill out and veg and watch.
We don't honor nobody. We don't.
Yeah. Just take a day off and sleep. I'm in. Have a good day, everybody.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.